goddamn gorilla.
Do you have it? Hey, apes together strong.
Hey.
Do you have it figured out? We got the levels all right.
Well, I don't know. Does my sultry voice sound like it's coming through loud and clear?
It smells muy delicioso.
You're smelling my voice? That's a fucking problem. First one of the day.
From this distance, yes, that is a problem. It shouldn't be happening. Question, David, you had some business ideas for us this week.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Non-podcast related. I want to hear more about those because, only so much information can be conveyed through text. So
it is
hit
true.
Me with the long version.
Well, I was orbiting some moon of Saturn on Thursday. I thought,
why'd you buy Dogecoin? You moonshot.
If only.
Plant your flag firmly on Uranus.
It wouldn't stop there.
Sorry, proceed. I promise to be serious.
Go all the way up to your rectum. Damn near killed him. So I was on nitrous getting, if you listen to the last episode, I severed my tooth last week and looked like I was part of the Beverly Hillbillies.
He was all tears and pity when I got over here.
I was confronting my own mortality, looking me in the face. Anyway, so I went and got my temporary put on this week, and both times I was nitrous up at the Friedman Dental Group. Second shout out in successive weeks. They are the best. If you're in the South Florida area, make sure you go into their dentistry. Don't even look at other dentists. They'll steal your teeth and sell them on the black market. I've seen them do it. Can't prove it, but I know it's true.
David's one of those customers that researches everything to the end.
Very. Make sure where I put my chompers.
He does his DD.
I do my due diligence.
Exactly.
Double D's.
Anywho, moving on.
So I was orbiting Saturn on the nitrous, and I was like, whoa, we are creating this bar, and it's going to be lit as shit. We'll call it Levity. Levity nitrous bar. We'll get all the licensure and all that. So we'll have individual rooms where you can just get high as balls on nitrous and just watch videos of dolphins or
listen. I'm gonna
geometric shapes.
Here's the key business question.
Basically building it all the way up to a dance club where you basically just gas them and they just move their bodies to music.
Okay. Can I ask you a serious business question? If we're gonna get this thing moving.
Let's get it up and running.
Can we?
Don't worry, I figured out the legal work already. I know a perfect guy for it.
Can we only, not in addition to, but nothing else, only accept Dogecoin as payment at Club Levity?
Well, I was thinking Ethereum. I was thinking a little more Ethereum because,
You don't happen to have a dog in any particular Ethereum fights, do you?
No, I like Mark Cuban a lot. And I think he's got a lot of good ideas. Like the Mavericks. He came up with the entire basketball franchise himself. Oh, from what I've done with my due diligence on that particular field.
Okay.
So he's got it figured out. They almost won a championship once. It was great.
Okay.
And he's named after a country.
That one took a second to sink in.
I know it did.
I finally got it. You got it. Okay. Well,
so we might have to dish this podcast for levity. We'll call it like it'll probably be like on the commercials, levity.
I think as we jump into the episode here, you should have the commercial wheels turn, and I want to hear the first promo pitch for Club Levity. Okay.
Have you ever been rubbed on?
Can we promise? Can we promise the meanies that?
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's do that.
It might take me a couple takes.
But with that being said, that does mean we're going to have to start the actual show.
I don't want to listen to my music again. Ugh.
All right.
I'm so bored with myself.
Enjoy it anyway. Welcome to Weapons of Meme Destruction Podcast, episode 39. Boy,
you've only been saying it 39 times.
I know.
You've only said it 39 times at least, if not all the erased episodes.
Yes. Which can be found at wmdpodcast.com/39. can be found on all your favorite podcast catchers, YouTube. Check us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm pretty sure that's all of them.
If you step in dog shit, check your shoe because we might be there too. Anyway,
Yes.
so we shouldn't
We're
even
in
be here
places.
right now. We shouldn't even be here right now because nothing bad happened this week. There was no news, and like we have nothing to figure out for the memes.
That's right. We have nothing to say. For the first time in my life, I don't know about David's, I'm actually speechless.
Do you want to just stare out into the blank oblivion?
Somehow we stumbled into utopia. We stumbled right up the steps to utopia.
I think you stumbled down the steps, don't you?
Not if you're Joe Biden.
Well, he did. He recovered pretty quickly for a geriatric.
Yeah, but did you see him get up out the last one? He like rubbed his shin.
Oh, fuck.
all
You
been-
can literally hear him go, oh, fuck.
We've all been
I'm
there,
not
Joe.
counting that, by the way. That's what Joe said, not me. That wasn't from my brain. That was from Joe.
It's like,
Watch your mouth, Joe.
ouchie magouchy little Joe.
Oh, you dog-faced pony liar.
All right, so we're trying not a totally new format. I think we tried to do a lightning round episode a few episodes ago.
Ugh.
But we're going to try a lightning round because, sarcasm dripping out of both of the mics right now. There was quite a bit going on this week. So we are going to try to hit a few of the highlights,
That's not all it's dripping.
but we're going to try to hit it quick. So hopefully I can shut the hell up when I think I've made a point. David, just give me the finger. Like if the point's been made, just flip
Dang,
me
my
off
finger
or
doesn't go down. Okay? I just flip you off the entire time.
Well, then do both. I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you both barrels.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So, 4 quick topics off the top, and then we're going to start with number 1. Apparently, the government says you can't sell your own organs. Hedge funds suck. Topic 3. Who needs the Stasi or the KGB when you have big tech?
Stasi from, what's that?
Don't even
Vanderpump?
tell me Vanderpump. Rules.
Vanderpump?
Your girl has you watching Vanderpump Rules too?
Bitch, I've seen it on your Hulu, and God knows I'm not watching it, so somebody needs to
I
come
thought
clean.
Jessica's made you watch it.
Somebody needs to come clean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been on my TV, but I watch it
No,
and
it's
I'm
been
like,
on my TV as well.
I feel myself
Is that why-
losing
Hold on,
CNS out of my brain.
Is
right now.
that why she started watching it? Because it was on there?
Hell
She's like,
no,
"Hey,
she
what's
was
this?"
watching that beforehand. You guys are late to the party. However, I judged you immensely when I saw it on the queue. I was like,
Listen, David.
I don't appreciate
Listen.
this. I didn't approve of it, and I feel like my boy's being taken advantage of.
Okay, David, listen. I'm ashamed of it myself.
You should be.
But
Incredibly.
with that being said, it's like a train wreck. You just can't look away from it. When
Oh,
it's
you
on-
actually watch it? Oh, dang. Dang. Don't tell me you watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, too. It's just a bunch of, like, lizard people going,
All right, David.
they sound like chihuahuas, like,
David, we said, hold on. We said we weren't going to get off track and look at us. We haven't even made it through the quick.
you
rundown.
watch Vanderpump. That I feel like that's news part 1. That's a problem. My
This-
co-host is trying to be intelligent and come up with competent points to news stuffs, and you're watching Vanderpump Rules
Okay,
in your pastime.
David,
You're
listen.
appeasing somebody else. I appreciate it.
David,
However, Colin,
can I get my piece in, please? What I'm saying
I
is,
hope that's why you're watching Vanderpump in the first place.
what I'm saying is, I have no excuse. I have nothing to offer you, and other than an apology, can we move on? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
I'm going to be the bigger person and accept that piteous
I'm giving you the
apology.
2 fingers. Your point has been made, sir.
Apology.
Okay.
Accepted.
Can we finish?
Yes, please, intelligent one.
The 4th topic is going to be a brief discussion of the Dante Wright case, and then just the police in general. So, starting back at the top, a New Jersey man is suing the federal government because you're not allowed to sell your own organs. Now, what kind of world are we living in where you can't sell your own organs? Not utopia, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, tell me about it, because prostitution would be legal at that point. They've been really harping on that one particular organ for a long time being sold. So it's just a matter of time till they move to the other ones. So Dane, what's your logical point for that?
Well, you see this headline and you're expected to think, oh, well, this guy's probably like a degenerate or whatever the case may be. No, he's just a guy who had some financial problems once. And when he was in that situation, he's like, I wonder if I could, sell a kidney, because there's about 113,000 people a year waiting on a kidney donor.
Now, are they just waiting on it because they want to eat a human kidney, or do they need it for medical purposes?
Yes, like they're going to die if
Correct.
they don't get, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if this guy doesn't name a price and they mutually agree to it, they die.
Well,
but, if there is no money involved and he does it voluntarily and they do it and they accept it
all he has to do is accept his
good.
copay. Or maybe the other family, if they're good enough, will pay for it.
Right.
So he breaks even on giving away his kidney for free out of the goodness of his heart.
So when this guy was having a tough time financially and he considered it, that's when he found out he couldn't do it. Because if you take the bad option away from the poor person who needed that option, you haven't really materially benefited their situation. If somebody has 3 bad options and they pick one and you say, nope, you can't have that bad option, it's too bad, and we're protecting your human rights, how have you made that person better off?
Meanwhile, he's legally allowed to drink Monster, which will kill your kidneys in a heartbeat. So what are we even arguing? Well, I've got my left one's kind of, what did you do to us? I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know.
So that's the thing, the absurdity that just because money enters the exchange, then that's how somehow seedy and we shouldn't allow that. But whatever. The other question I had is like,
my body, my choice.
My body, my choice?
Oh, that seems like such a...
Shouldn't that apply here? He wants to sell a body part. They want to buy it.
You might be
their choices.
You might be a little familiar with this statement. You don't know anything about my story.
That's true.
Vanderpump.
Wait a minute. So does this also mean that nobody who's ever either needed a kidney or been a match to donate one can have an opinion on the subject? I think that's how the rules go, right?
No, you can't.
With the my body, my choice thing?
Usually, you don't get an option whether or not your kidneys get taken out. You go to a party and then all of a sudden wake up in a seedy hotel bathroom full of ice with a pain in your back that you can't really explain. And then all of a sudden your pee comes out red and you start asking questions. So anyway, all I'm saying is, if it's illegal to sell parts of your body for money, why? It's your body. I mean...
Listen, I'm not going to get too much into the philosophy here. I'm only going to say this because we got to move on to topic 2, is that...
Like, are there stamps that said made in the USA all over my organs?
Is that no matter whether you're a third party or you're all the way up to the government, if you step in between that interaction and you say, nope, you can't sell it, and nope, you can't buy it, you are inherently claiming a higher moral right to that person's body, the guy selling it and the guy or girl buying it.
Meaning that you know better for them than they know for themselves.
Right. Because that's the whole point of property, right? And even in a perfect socialist world or communist world where there is no private property, you still own yourself. Nobody has a higher claim to the disposition of your body than you.
Oh my God, legal statutes abound. Like, all you have to say when you kill somebody from now on is like, I didn't do it. The ownership of my body that is the American government killed that person, not me.
Perfect.
Or option B, a George Carlin bit comes to mind that selling is legal and fucking is legal. Why isn't selling fucking legal? And vice versa, my organs.
Is the logic there the ice cream and pizza thing? You like both, but you don't like them with each other?
You can't put them together because that's the ingredients for the atomic bomb. They want you to think that it's an atom getting split, but it's really them putting pepperoni pizza and vanilla ice cream together, and that's what caused the shock wave.
Well, if that's the case, we need to recover a lot of money for our nuclear testing program.
Correct.
So I think we've set that one to bed. David, do you have anything more about selling your own kidneys? Just don't do it.
I want to sell them.
If you
I don't want to take it.
Do it for free, okay? If you take $1,
Please,
you're screwed up, my guy.
Just get sliced open for your own merit. Just because you like the feeling.
All right. Topic number 2. Hedgies are bastards. Now, this one is hitting a little close to home. And I'm fully willing to openly disclose my bias on this topic, so take what I say with a boulder of salt. Wait a minute. Is the
Maybe
fact
not.
that it's a
Maybe
grain?
Maybe don't do that because
better
like I
part
feel
of
like a
that?
boulder assault will throw off the salinity of.
A little
Can I
bit.
take that again? Salinity levels of your bloodstream, and
It's
then
true.
it'll lead to a lot of cramps.
So here's my two, and I'm just using hedgies as kind of a catch-all Wall Street bets kind of term to mean like,
Everyone's got a Goldman Sachs poster in their 13-year-old bedroom right next to Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
Or at least that's where I kept mine.
yeah. Kids today are totally looking up to posters of Ken Griffin.
Exactly. Wait, Kenny Griffin? Like the baseball player, Junior? Or like Ken Griffin?
That's Griffey, stupid.
Oh, got
Can
it.
we not get off track, please?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, just that general Wall Street shot caller kind of persona. On the micro level, I'm mad because they're screwing the little guys. And damn it, I'm one of the little guys. I formed an unhealthy addiction to buying shares of AMC.
Don't you understand?
The more it drops.
Don't these heroin dealers know my plight? I just want to get high and chase this fucking dragon.
So
That's number 5. by the
So
way.
I'm mad because they're making and or severely bending the rules to the point that nothing about this is
that
fair.
only they can win and we all lose.
and it's completely impossible for us to, be a collective buying power that could match them, because as soon as we do, fuck us, right? So hey, I did it first this one.
Oh, David's not the only man that knows his way around the F.
So that's the micro reason why I'm mad at those guys.
Welcome to the club.
But there's a bigger reason. There's
What's
a more existential crisis.
What's the
reason.
most direct reason you can give them?
Is they are by far the best propaganda artists for the crazy radical lefties, the commies, the socialists, et cetera, et cetera. And here's why. Think about 2008. Where did Occupy Wall Street and that whole general movement, when they said capitalism has failed, where did they point first? Wall Street. Duh. And a lot of the points they would make about Wall Street people cheating and, skirting the system, those are valid points.
And you know what is a good time to do?
What?
Fix all those loopholes that Wall Street was taking advantage of at that point, right? And that's exactly what we did, right?
Yeah. Except, no.
Oh, shit. So we had a great moment to move forward in this country, and we missed it by a long shot.
So because of these assholes on Wall Street that break every rule, making what, again, the lefties would be like, this is an example of free market capitalism. Listen, if you think the free market, the hallmarks of the free market are a central bank that has monopoly control over the money supply, you have a government that has, the legal authority to make legal tender laws, which outlaw other uses, other types of cash is used. When you have a system rigged like this from top to bottom, and you're telling me that's an example of free market capitalism, you got a lot of reading to do. But anyway, the lefties will point at Wall Street and say, look, capitalism fails. And then the stupid or the young, because let's be honest, that's who's preyed upon in political discourse. The stupid or the young, like, yeah, they're cheating on Wall Street. Capitalism's bad. We want more socialism and communism, et cetera, et cetera. These bastards are to blame for them for giving credibility to the radical leftists. And yes, that's a real thing. And I think David's like mid-death over here. I think I talked him into a seizure. David, was that like 4 or 5 sneezes?
That was 2. But they had the impact of 4 or 5.
If I could count,
Try to swallow them.
I'd be a lot richer.
Hold on. Here comes number 3.
Anyway, I was done with that topic.
No, I wasn't done with the sneeze topic. Anywho.
God bless you.
Moving on. Thank you. It's about goddamn time you gave me a blessing.
I tell him to bless you, and then you.
Out of my nosebleed, I'm gonna come through with this little gem. Is that do what you've always done and you'll get what you always get, right? Those who do not learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. So you think that we're gonna lead these godlike figures up on Hedgy Row? You think that they're going to lead us into a utopia now that they've learned the error of their ways by getting bailed out? They got grounded with internet access and just went in there with a bottle of Jergens and didn't learn a goddamn thing. So I feel like we're heading for another collapse. Don't you feel like?
Mm-hmm.
because it feels like we're printing off a lot of money right now for COVID.
Yeah, because
like
the solution to the last problem was to bail them out with our money, the people they screwed over in the first place.
Just in case you forgot.
And then to pass more laws, which made the too big to fails bigger and more susceptible to failure in terms of Dodd-Frank. And then you still have the revolving door you've always had between regulatory agencies like the SEC and FINRA and former, chairman of the boards on Wall Street. So you put all that together, you sure as hell don't have a free market system where the little guy has just as much opportunity.
Right.
You have a completely rigged system, but, the lefties, the ones that want control of the entire apparatus, are going to point at that and be like, see, this is why you need us in power. Fast forward a few years, you got AOC. So that's not good things.
I think we're good.
All right. Topic number 3. Titter.
Hold on.
I almost said titter.
We have AOC and we lost Looney Tunes. All right.
I know.
Let's get our perspectives in order.
This world's
all right.
It's
getting dark real fast.
David, I think, was it commercial time?
Don't think. No.
It was not commercial time because he's still thinking, or he never started. It's hard to tell these days. Okay. Topic 3.
Do you think while you act or just act while you're thinking?
I try not to think or act. I just do things.
I sit.
All right. Topic 3. Twitter banning James O'Keefe. Not only a moment after his organization, Project Veritas, released the undercover footage of a CNN, what was it? Technical director.
And just to get it off the ground right now from the start, we don't think that James O'Keefe is a saint necessarily either, right? He's probably done his own.
I don't care one.
We're
way
not
or another.
beatifying him. That's all we're saying.
Right, and
we're not beatifying him.
That's what I'm saying. He has, and obviously his group has their commentary to add between the video clips.
Correct.
But the thing that is most important to me is the fact that I am getting to see, in their own words, somebody who believes wholeheartedly in that side of the political spectrum. So that's all I care about. I don't care about the editorializing in between. Just like you may be a listener of this show and doesn't care about my or David's particular editorial on this situation. But we're going to give it to you and you make your own conclusion.
Why you'd be listening to this show in the first place if you didn't want that? I feel like there's plenty of you.
Maybe they like some stuff and not this. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe, perhaps.
So anyway, So O'Keefe has some people from his organization basically befriend some CNN people, including a technical director, and gets them on a series of tapes, basically admitting what anybody with two eyeballs and an IQ above the average speed limit already knew. That, the media is not in the business of giving you information. It is in the business of stimulating ratings and turning that into money, and let the chips fall where they may. But everybody has their agenda. So he admits to they ran stories that intentionally downgraded Trump, upgraded Biden, et cetera, et cetera.
It's 24-hour prime time. You're watching Chicago, New York, whatever, cop, lawyer, medical drama at 8 o'clock p.m. That's what they're doing for a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get your eyes on what they're saying.
Right. But for real life stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you actually apply the fear that they're spreading, which is one of the things that he just brought up.
He openly admits, fear sells. And I think another phrase he used was, if it bleeds, it leads. And he explained why the coronavirus little death ticker on the lower right-hand side of CNN 24/7, the idea is to get that number as high as possible and to pump those numbers up whenever possible to give the story that you're currently running more credence, to have more people tune in because of that death ticker. These are creative decisions that people can take issue with. But what I'm saying is the valuable thing is he's openly admitting what we've all known right there.
Well,
and then
we haven't known. We've had an inkling. We've always suspected, but we had no hard evidence, so we couldn't know.
You are deeply, deeply ingrained in the faith of the cathedral if you needed to see this to confirm it for you. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what I would say is that you're a doubting Thomas. You don't believe until you put your fingers into Jesus' little wound.
Right. So, listen, my takeaway from, and by the way, just one more thing. He did have a perspective. So this isn't a guy just armchair quarterbacking at the end. So we'll see how it plays out. He had a perspective prediction that there's a thing called COVID fatigue. The viewers are starting to get tired of it. And so the next big thing is climate change. They're going to use all the same tactics, and they're just going to run till the lights go out. They're going to run stories and scaring people about climate change.
And
so
what happened to the
be
leader?
on the lookout for that. See what happens.
What happened to the leader of Project Veritas? Again, one more time.
Yes.
We haven't mentioned it before.
The day after he released these videos, Twitter banned his account permanently, citing it for "quote unquote" spam. He was spamming.
Alex Jones disaster.
Yeah. Remember a couple years ago when those crazy libertarians were saying, "Yeah, you start with Alex Jones, but that's not where it ends." Well, we're not where it ends yet, but we're moving pretty quickly in that direction.
Well, there you go.
And, like I said to lead off the show, and the only thing I really wanted to say about this point is, like, who needs the Stasi or the KGB when you have big tech? All right. Number 4.
I'm not going to bring up Vanderpump again. Every time I hear Stasi, I just shame.
Oh, yeah. That's where that started.
I should have a bell over
I should have just said KGB. I shouldn't have even opened the door for you.
Shame.
All right. So, number 4, we actually have a long form discussion of number 4, which, if you're on the email list, you already know this. But if you're not, we're going to tell you now.
Or if you're on the email list and didn't see it.
Yes, that's true. There is a free app you can download on your phone from any, iTunes store or Google Play Store called Stereo. And starting a couple weeks ago, but last Wednesday, more importantly, David and I get on there at 7 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And we pick out one topic.
7 p.m. Eastern at 7 o'clock.
Did I say all those 7s?
Yep.
Okay. I think they know 7.
I think you drove 7 into the ground right there.
We do a live show where people that are listening to us can comment, and we play their comments and respond. But in this week's episode, we spoke for about an hour and a half on our takeaways from the Dante Wright situation. We're going to give the Cliff Note version here. So if you want to hear that show, go over to YouTube, because we're going to translate it over to YouTube, and you're going to be able to hear that as kind of a bonus episode. But if you want to hear those going forward, just download that Stereo app and join us on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern.
There you go. Nice plug.
Okay, so our 2 key takeaways from the Dante Wright situation is, first and foremost, we have too many laws. And that isn't just a self-fulfilling conclusion that doesn't need any explanation. But again, the other episode explains in detail. But the key takeaway is, the more laws you have, the more incidences of enforcement that police will have, which means more encounters with people. And if you just have 10 billion encounters versus 500 encounters, the chances that something goes wrong is going to be higher in the overall aggregate.
What was that?
Maybe not per capita, but you're going to have more incidences like Dante Wright. And that's where we got to start. Cut the snake off at the head. Eliminate encounters between the police and the people as much as possible.
What was that phrase that said, like, an American citizen commits a felony 12 times a day or some shit like that? What was that?
Well, I can't remember. I think that's the title of the book. I needed to look up the author. We'll put it in the show notes page. But yes, a former, I think, criminal defense attorney wrote a book called 5 Felonies a Day. I believe it was 5. And he goes in there and gives some of the more absurd, federal laws that are felonies, and says the basic premise of the book is every single American citizen walking around on an average basis commits 5 felonies a day, and they don't even know it. So if that's the case, that's tons and tons of pretexts that the police could approach a citizen for tons and tons of different things, and it's just a numbers game at that point. The more interactions there are, the more chances there are for something to go awry, to somebody die who didn't need to. I mean, he was pulled over for expired tags and possibly an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror. Encounter should have never happened, and that's the point that we were making.
Right.
And then the second and last thing is, whenever these interactions with government agents go wrong and somebody dies, there's always the state apologists, typically from the right, that come out and start saying, well, he shouldn't have done this. He should have complied. He should have this. He should have that. Okay, fine. Maybe, yes, that's the more prudent, safe decision to do. However, that doesn't excuse the fact that he was trying to run away. A guy who's running away is not a threat to you. Let him go.
Or other people.
You have his tag. You already did a background check. You know where. Go pick him up later.
There's no immediate danger to society when he was just pulled over for a moving violation. If you let him speed away, you already know his name. You generally know where to find him. And where is he going to go?
Yeah.
You'll find him. And then guess what? When he's there, he's not a violent criminal. He wasn't pulled over for murder. He was pulled over for expired tags. What's he going to do? Go to another state and wait a year and have expired tags there and take advantage of that state? Okay, well, heaven for goddamn bid. Like, you'll get him eventually. There was no immediate danger. Let him go, find him later.
Which the macro point to that is, kind of a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's absolutely true, especially amongst libertarians, is where there's no victim, there's no crime. Like, this is the same reason why a libertarian would generally be against the drug war, because even if they're doing something as hardcore as like heroin or something like that, the only victim is them if they OD.
Harkening back to our first point, euthanasia. It's your body. Like, you should be able to do and put into your body whatever you want as long as you don't harm another person to do so.
Right.
Right?
Now again, don't mistake me, and I'm not, diminishing the severity, the loss of life to the family first for, an addict that ODs. I'm not downplaying that at all, and that's never the argument. But the point is that when you have a question, when the question is, what is the overall harm to society? You want to do harm reduction. You want to hurt as few people as possible and create as few interactions between governments, agents with guns and badges, and citizens as possible, because you want to reduce the number of lives lost, violence created, all that kind of stuff. And somebody who ODs, although that is the sad loss of life, they didn't rob anybody again, if the drug laws aren't on the books. But yes, David, go ahead.
You want to call a spade here?
Yes.
What do more laws correlate to? It turns the population into a commodity for the state.
Or of course.
That's basically
what civil asset forfeiture is.
Exactly.
It's using people to pad police department budgets.
It's using people to pad judicial budgets. Mm-hmm. It's using people to pad privately owned jail companies.
So if you're not tax cattle paying for whatever the state wants to do, which, newsflash, most of it's not in your best interest.
Shocking.
You're either going to get it extorted from you via taxation, but although the gun's not pointed directly in your face, you still better pay up or you might get thrown in a cage. All the way down to, the gun is definitely, literally 100% pointed at your face. And the government is going to get its pound of flesh. And that's either going to be sending you to a prison that they're making money off of, or that's going to be a literal pound of flesh.
And then to harken back to our episode that we recorded on stereo, or I guess our telephone call, one of our listeners chimed in with a comment. And he said, how do you get back at the people? How do you correct this wrong? And the answer is always just survive the situation. Survive the situation so that you can tell your story and defend yourself. Period. Just survive.
That's true.
And life comes first. We'll figure it out later.
Exactly. But all of that aside, the system that we have is not what any sane person, if they were to step out and take a third person view and not actually be living in the system and be a subject to the threats of force from the state or be the one working for the state enforcing it, nobody would create the type of system that we currently live under in a vacuum. They would look at and they'd be like, the incentives are all wrong. Like, these people get to make all the rules and they get to write themselves exemptions from it, and these people got to pay for it. And if they try not to, then these people can commit violence on them and put them in a cage. Like, however, nobody would create that system in the abstract.
If these people try to defend themselves from said violence from officers of the state, they're not only guilty of the first crime, but they're also guilty of trying to inflict harm on the people of the state, just trying to defend themselves, which is yet another felony. So now we've just doubled the charges. Like, that's where the problem is. Like, there were people that were saying that when they recorded the George Floyd murder or whatever you want to call it, they feel like they should have done more. Well, guess what? If you would have done more, if you would have tried to push Chauvin off of him, guess what?
You'd be going to jail too.
Exactly.
Course,
you would be a felon. You attacked an officer of the law, and now you're going to jail too.
Yeah.
So you're caught in a rock and a hard spot. So either way you go.
It feeds back, just to tie the whole thing up, it feeds back into the first point about, an overly litigious and overlawed society that creates these encounters is going to have these kind of results because the incentives are screwed up. You can't quote unquote train the police better or do some other kind of tweak around the edges nonsense and fix this thing. The thing is broke systemically because the incentives are all screwed up. And if human beings are rationally self-interested, when they have that kind of power and they can exercise it to make themselves more powerful or richer or whatever, what kind of cloth of humanity are they cut from that they're not going to succumb to those kind of temptations? Of course they're going to. That's why the system's broken, because the incentives are all wrong. So start there, cut the snake off at the head, and maybe we could be a little bit happier.
The whole damn thing to the ground. Let's use the system, the skeleton that's there, but let's rework it in a manner that makes more sense. That's all that there is to it. Like we brought up on the podcast too, like what police, and to kind of harken back to it, police get 2 to 3 weeks training on the job before they get just released into the public.
I mean, I don't know what that training is or what their continuing is. But
all I'm saying is Navy SEALs spend 40% of their time on and off duty practicing, working situations, working with their gun, working with their weapons unit, working with the unit they're going to be. 40% of your time should be, it's just more, you just do better. God damn it.
I get it, but again,
more time in.
Does not matter how much they're trained.
No.
If their incentives are to enrich themselves and to keep and retain and expand their power, these are the results that are going to happen.
And then to speak to that is psychologically speaking, when you're pulled over, you're not worried about whether or not you're going to get a ticket nowadays. You're worried about whether or not you're going to be alive at the end of this for some members of society. So that immediately puts you on edge, which immediately amps up the encounter, which we just said shouldn't have been happening in the first place with less laws.
Well, David, on that cheery note.
Yes.
you didn't want to leave them laughing. You wanted to leave them just.
No.
I feel like we need an action item.
That's
which is something I feel like we should have
picked this for the last one. We should have picked the prostitution thing for the last episode, for the last subject, but you wanted to put in that order, so we went in that order, unfortunately.
I feel like an action item could have had something to do with the nitrous bar,
an
levity.
action item?
Yeah.
Well,
go to the website.
If you feel you're overly stressed out by your day-to-day life and just want to get away from it all, come to Levity.
Or stressed out by society.
Or you got pulled over on the way over here.
Or by listening to episode 39 of WMD Podcast.
Or your wife's bitching at you about something you don't quite understand.
Or your husband's being obtuse.
Or your girlfriend makes you watch Vanderpump Rules and somehow you fucking get into it.
But you love her anyway, so it's okay.
Like a total cisgender piece of shit. Anywho, if you want to get
I am cisgendered. I identify as the sex I was born with.
That makes you a piece of shit. Don't you understand that nowadays? Anyway, come to Levity. Get high on nitrous. Dance to bongos. I don't know what we're going to play there yet, but we'll figure it out. We've got on-hand staff that's anesthesiologist licensure and all that good stuff. Just come in, get high, and don't worry about the DUI. Levity. There.
And you can get on the ground floor of funding this operation by coming over to WMDpodcast.com, hopping on that support our work page. either clicking through the Amazon link to do your shopping, which gives your friends here a little commission, or doing a one-time donation or a monthly donation for which you get goodies. And coming in the not too distant future, merch.
You don't even know. You don't even know
You'll
what's
be
coming
able
in
to
the not too
buy
distant future.
shirts and, other stuff.
And coming soon, the WMD Men of WMD calendar.
Nobody wants to see half of that.
Oh, the sexiest, most discreet shots of your
All right,
two
we're not
co-hosts.
doing another commercial.
Oh, this is happening, Dane. I've already hired the photographer.
All right, well, right when...
It's coming out of our budget.
Go.
No. It's just a WMD calendar. You want to see WMD working on the firefighters. No. We're going to sell this thing. Scantily clad WMD co-hosts showing off their sexy heart libertarian bods on the beaches, working the firefighting hose and all that good stuff. Coming at you live. Wait, hold on. We'll miss you.